Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is gonna be the one that I have been waiting to shoot since so long. So it's gonna be the mid-year reading wrap-up video, and it's gonna be about all the books that I've read in these 6-7 months of 2024. I know I'm so late in recording this video, but here it goes anyways. To be fair, I haven't read many novels in this year because of different reasons. I had my exams, then I have my competitive exams, and also I started reading the young adult trope in the beginning of this year. I used to read novels before as well. I'm gonna give you a review of all the books that I have been recommended or I think are worth the hype or not, and I'm also gonna rate them. I'm gonna give you a quick small gist of those novels. So yeah, let's just get started with this video. Okay, so the first novel that I read was a recommendation from my friend. She told me that you should read it. This should be your first novel in the young adult trope, and it was much talked about The Love Hypothesis by alihazelwood. Now this was all over Bookstagram, all over TikTok, and I was like, I have to read it. I have to see what's all the hype about. Honestly, if I'm being asked if it's worth the hype or not, I would say yeah, kind of. It is. Like, it's a very cutesy novel. It's about fake dating trope, and I'd say it's a breath of fresh air because there are not many novels that are based around college settings. So this one is about Olive, who is a STEM student, and her professor, Dr. Adam Carlson, he is the grumpy mad professor of the building, of the department. So it's a cute novel. It's a quick read, so I think you should read it. You can read it. It's not like it's not worth the hype and all, so it's good. You can read it. You can give it a try if you haven't already. But yeah, I would give it an 8 on 10. So now I'm gonna move on to the second novel that I read. I don't know who recommended me this, but bless whoever did, because I think this is my favorite novel. Oh my god, I love this novel so much. So it is book number 1 of the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher, The Fine Print. I love this book with all of my heart. I can't even tell you how much I enjoyed this book, and like, I can read it as many times as you want me to. So it is about 3 brothers, and all of them have a book. So there are 3 books in this series, and this first book is about Rowan Kane. He is, I think, the director of this place called Dreamland. He is a billionaire CEO, not CEO, but like, yeah. And there's Zara, who is a hairdresser in Dreamland, and is just really sweet, really cute. I love this writing style of Lauren Asher that she does in almost every novel, that in the end, when everything is going good, there will be a snap and everything will go downhill, and then the MNC has to make it up to the FNC. It just makes the novel so much more interesting, and I love that things. Like, I am the biggest Lauren Asher fan, so I just love this novel. I'm gonna give it a solid 10 on 10. If you haven't read it, please go and do it already. So the next novel I read was after exams. I took a break for exams and then I got back to reading. I had on my list since so long this Twisted series by anahuang, which is again so hyped, and I read book number 1, Twistedlove, which is honestly, I don't think it's worth the hype because I didn't enjoy it that much. Like, it's not that good. It's good, but it's not that good. It is about Alex, who is the billionaire CEO, and also it's a brother's best friend trope, and it's about Ava Chen, who is a student, I guess. But like, yeah, it was a good novel. It's enjoyable, it's fine, but it's just not worth the hype because it's been so talked about that my expectations were literally here, and it did not meet them, and you feel like the ending is a little illogical, like it's just weird. But anyways, you can read it if you want to see what all the hype is about. The next book I read was Twisted series book number 2, Twisted Games. Now this, I feel like, is the most underrated book of this Twisted series because I hadn't even heard Twisted Games itna zyada, but it's just amazing. I think it's the best book in the Twisted series. Also, the characters of this book are just not talked about enough. So there is Princess Bridget, who is like this sassy character. I love her. And then there's Riz Larson, who is her bodyguard, and it's a princess bodyguard romance. forbidden love actually, which is my personal favorite nowadays. So it's good. I really enjoyed it, and for all it's worth, it is so good, and I just feel like you should definitely read it. I can safely say I think it's gonna be my favorite book in the Twisted series, although I haven't read book 3 and 4, but this is gonna be my, I think, one of my favorites. Yeah. And I'm also gonna give this a 9.5 on 10. Okay, so the next book that I read was, again because of the hype around it, it was Shatter by Taherehmafi. It is about Arun, I guess. Like, I have heard about this guy so much all over Bookstagram that I was like, I have to read it. I literally didn't even know the trope. I didn't know what it is about. I just could figure out that it's sci-fi or something from this summary back here. But I was like, I have to read this novel. Like, I've heard so much. So let's just see what it is about. It is about a dystopian world. Also, it's like the found family trope, which is really cute. I don't think he has a lot of role in this first novel, and it's sci-fi and it's just not my taste. I won't say it's a bad novel. I would say it's fun. Like, if you're into sci-fi and stuff, then you'll like it, and kind of think that it is worth the hype. It's a very different novel, and you'll enjoy reading it. And yeah, it's just good. You can give it a read. You can try. And it is a really long series. Like, I think it has 9 books. I don't have the patience to read so many books, so I'm just gonna continue this sometime in future, but not right now. I'm gonna give this one a 7.5 on 10, since it's a very different trope and I haven't read anything of this type. So like, yeah, it's fine, it's cool. The next novel that I read was book number 2 of Dreamland Billionaire series, Terms and Conditions. I wanted to buy this book in physical form and then read it, but I just could not wait for the hardback to come. I was like, I have to read this novel. Since I loved the first one so much, I could not stop myself. I read this, and honestly, nothing tops up the fine print. I love that book with all of my heart. Terms and Conditions is also good. So the next novel that I read after this was very different from the novels that I have read before, and this was also so much talked about, and I was like, I have to read this one. So it is The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. So, oh my god, just like, I can't say anything about this book. I don't know how to put it into words, but it's a very, very emotional book, and it's just amazing. Whatever I've heard about this book, all of this was true. Although I have taken up this book, I've read only 100 pages because it was getting too much for me. Like, I have cried at least 3 to 4 times in these 100 pages. So I was like, I can't read this book at once. I have to read it, in installments. So I have just DNF'd it, and I want to read it, but let's see when I can do that. But yeah, it's a very, very, very emotional book, and it's about the bond of friendship and how pure it is and how servile in nature it can be. So you should definitely read it. I think it's about a boy in Afghanistan and his servant who were like brothers, and then they got separated. It is about Amir and Hassan. Amir was the guy, the rich guy, and Hassan was his servant, and it's about how he lives in remorse the whole time, and it's very heartwarming. It's a very nice book, and I can't rate this book right now because I haven't finished it, but any which ways you should definitely read this one. Another book that I read was Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I love this book. This was so much more than what I expected. Like, this was also very hyped up, but I think this is totally worth the hype. It's a very, very sweet book about Archer, who is a deaf and dumb person, and how he finds life. And then there's this girl who comes in his small town. It's a small town romance, and they both heal each other. So it's a very, very sweet book. I think you should definitely read it, and it's definitely worth all the hype. I would give this one a 9 on 10. So the next book that I read was The Wrong Bride by Katharina Mora. Again, very, very cute book. It is, I think, Forced Proximity. It's a friends to lovers, and it's just weird in the beginning, but then in the end you feel like it was so wholesome. Basically, it's about Ars and Raven. Ars Windsor is a guy who was slated to marry Hannah, and Hannah did not show up at their wedding. So instead of Hannah's sister Raven had to marry Ars, and then there was this very weird thing, Ars and Raven, you know, and then dhire 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 it just develops into a very interesting thing. So I think if you're into friends to lovers, you should definitely read this one. And yeah, very wholesome, totally worth your time. and just all good things for this one. I would give this novel an 8 on 10. Moving on to the next book that I read, again because of how hyped it was. This one, Red, White and Royal Blue by Cassie McKiston. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but this book, I heard so much about this and I honestly love it. It's gay romance. It's between President of the United States, Alex Claremont Diaz, and Henry, who is the Prince of UK. It's very interesting. It's an enemies to lovers, and there's so much banter. There's so much emotion, and it's also kind of funny at some points. And I really loved reading this book. I never thought I would like gay romances, but here I am. I just love this one so much. And there's also a movie on this which you should definitely watch. It is also quite good. But if you want to read the book, just go for it. Just read it. I would give it a 9 on 10, and it is really good, and I think it's totally worth the hype. Now, moving on to the next book that I'm still reading, but I'm going to review it anyway. This is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. Okay, so this one is also a Netflix series, I guess, and quite good, I would say. I am enjoying it. I am halfway through it. I think 200 pages. So it's really good. If you want a good thriller, good murder mystery or criminology, it's pretty good. You should definitely read it. I had also started reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I don't know why, like I just stopped in between. But this one is really good, very interesting, and like it will keep you on the edge of your seat throughout. It has so many twists and turns, and it's just very, very gripping and very engaging. And I'm gonna do a full review once I'm done reading this one. But till now, I think it's an 8 on 10 or 8.5 on 10. So yeah, it's good. You can read it if you're into murder mysteries. This one is very interesting and highly recommended also. Okay, so I guess that was it for all the books I have read in these 6-7 months. I know I have read such less books, but then again, and also, okay, let me show you what I have in my TBR right now. I have these three in my TBR: The Silent Patient, A Man Called Ove, and Powerless. I'm going to be reading this one, I guess, sabse pehle, because this, I have heard so much about this, and it also has second part now, Reckless, which again, I'm going to read that as well. So, in-game reviews are coming up very, very soon in the, I think, the end of this year or maybe just next month. Who knows? Let's see. But I have so many books that I want to read that are lined up. Also, I'm going to be continuing that Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. Definitely. So that was it for all the books that I've read. I loved all of these, and I've also given you guys the rating. So now you know which one is worth it and which one is not. I'm going to be finishing the video right here. So that was it for today's video. If you liked the video, please like, share and subscribe for more such videos on part 2 and book recommendations and vlogs and everything basically. And stay hydrated, stay happy, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one very soon. Bye. And also, okay, let me show you what I have in my TBR right now. I have these three in my TBR: The Silent Patient, A Man Called Ove, and Powerless. I'm going to be reading this one, I guess, sabse pehle, because this, I have heard so much about this, and it also has second part now, Reckless, which again, I'm going to read that as well. So, in-game reviews are coming up very, very soon in the, I think, the end of this year or maybe just next month. Who knows? Let's see. But I have so many books that I want to read that are lined up. Also, I'm going to be continuing that Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. Definitely. So that was it for all the books that I've read. I loved all of these, and I've also given you guys the rating. So now you know which one is worth it and which one is not. I'm going to be finishing the video right here. So that was it for today's video. If you liked the video, please like, share and subscribe for more such videos on part 2 and book recommendations and vlogs and everything basically. And stay hydrated, stay happy, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one very soon. Bye.